Hello everyone and welcome back to Technically Unsure, where I'm not really sure what I'm doing technically.
What am I doing?
So today we are going to take a look at a tiny monster sitting on my desk. It's right over here, and this is the AceMagic K1. So don't let the size fool you. Basically, this thing might look like a small router, but it is hiding an 8-core Ryzen 7 7500U CPU, and it comes with 32GB RAM and comes with a 1TB SSD. It's the size of a grilled cheese sandwich, and it got a lot of ports and I/O. So I decided to take a look at it and show it to you guys, and so we are going to unbox it together. I showed you guys another mini PC from AceMagic, so that one was okay. So let's take a look at this one, which I believe is also priced fairly, just like the other one. So it comes with a user manual in different languages, and obviously, yes, you can. Oh my god, that was so light. I was expecting it to be a lot heavier, but that was light. So let me open this up. All right, so first of all, first impression, looks neat, and it's very, very lightweight. And what does it say here? For faster setup, avoid LAN initially, connecting my trigger updates. Yeah, I know. So this one, as I was saying, got a lot of ports, and these are all 6 USB 3.2 ports. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 USB 3.2 ports. There's a display port, there's an HDMI port. The only letdown that I saw, and I was like, man, I wish it was better, but it's like a gigabit Ethernet. I wish it was 2.5, but it's fine. It comes with Wi-Fi 6, Bluetooth 5.2. There should be a micro SD slot, I guess, somewhere. Maybe it's inside, but not outside. I don't know. Anyway, there's a USB-C with video capability. So it's like a full-blown USB-C port, and you can connect a display port to this. So one display over here, 2 displays, 3 displays. So you can connect 3 displays, and each can do 4K at 60 Hertz at the same time. So a lot of monitors can be connected to this tiny, very, very lightweight box, basically. The RAM, as I said, as far as I know, there is no configuration. You can't really choose and pick from the RAM and the SSD. So it comes with 32, but you can obviously replace it with 64. It can go up to 64, and it comes with 2 M.2 NVMe SSD slots. So you can go 4 and 8TB as well if you want to. You know, the AceMagic says basically this thing is for developers, gamers, content creators, home labs, media centers, and maybe even your grandma's church Zoom calls. You know, that's just a bold claim overall, but honestly, from the specs and the ports and everything else that I see on the paper, looks like they're not really off. It can be used for all of those things. Maybe gaming, I would take it lightly, but streaming, development, content creators, home lab, media server, yeah, you can run a lot of things on this. It comes with 8 Zen 3 cores with Vega graphics. That's a lot of horsepower for, I don't know, compiling code or Docker containers, Proxmox, retro games. You know, you can play almost every single retro game should run on this. And maybe you can't really play a lot of modern games from Steam, but you can play other retro games and some Steam games as well. We're gonna try everything. And it comes with some RGB lighting, it was saying, so we're gonna turn it on and see where it is, and if we can address it and control it, we're gonna see that. So I'm gonna try Windows, Linux, benchmarks, LLM, the usual. Okay, so stick around. Before that, let me finish up the unboxing. Let's see what else is in there. I assume there is a power supply somewhere over here. Okay, so here is all the contents of the box, and I'm gonna throw these all away. So it comes with a bunch of screws. Okay, I think those are for NVMe SSD, and it comes with VESA mount. You can definitely install this behind your monitor, wall, whatever. And there is an HDMI cable, which I'm not gonna use. There is a power cord. These are one of those Mickey Mouse connectors. It goes over there, and input is basically US, Europe, all that, 100 to 240, and the output is 19 volt, 3.4 amps. Wish it was able to do that with a USB-C, but unfortunately, this is what you got. That's pretty much what is in the box. I'm not gonna touch these. So I think in order to get in there, we have to remove the rubber feet, which I really don't like doing that, but I have no other choice. And I think that's where the screws are. Let's see. Yep, that's where the screws are. Okay, no choice. We gotta do it. I have to show you guys inside of it. Okay, so this is nice and neat. It comes with NetAC, whatever, M.2, 1 terabyte as we talked about, and it comes with Kinsotin, I never heard of them, 16 gigabyte DDR4 RAM. Initially, as you can see, there's another M.2 slot right over here. So 1, 2, 2 M.2 slots. Initially, I'm not gonna replace the RAM. I'm gonna replace the NVMe SSD. I want it to perform, and I want to show you guys what's happening exactly as is, meaning with the original RAM and original everything. Okay, the other side you can see as well, that's a chunky fan. So on the back side, you basically just have this fan, and that's kind of it. There's nothing else in there. Okay, so we put this kind of like that in there. I'm not gonna put everything back together because I want to be able to keep going back and forth. And there is the Wi-Fi card. Okay, you know what, as I'm going to already replace the NVMe SSD, let me show you what is underneath this. So yeah, that's also pretty standard. So it comes with MediaTek MT7902. So this is Wi-Fi 6 module right over here, and the antenna is over here on the body. So yeah, this is the Wi-Fi module and 1 and 2 NVMe SSD. All right, so as I said, I'm not gonna use this, but I will keep the RAM. Give me a couple of minutes, let me set things up, and we take it for a spin. Okay, everything is wired up, so we are going to turn it on. I'm going to try to get into the BIOS, 4923, okay. All right, so we are in the BIOS. As you can see, AMD Ryzen 7 5700, Radeon graphics, and CPU is 1.8 gigahertz, 30 gigabyte DDR4 RAM, and trusted computing module TPM is already there. CPU configuration, C states is over here, node 0 information. Oh yeah, here a little bit more info on the CPU. SVM mode and X mode, these are all enabled. I didn't change anything. Whatever you see is whatever you get. Okay, so this is one of my NVMe SSDs. And power management, south bridge is USB, north, and that's pretty much it. There's nothing really. Security, boot, and that's it. So first let's try Ubuntu. And I want to tell you one thing. I just noticed this is a SATA SSD. So basically it means that you need to have a SATA SSD at least on the first port. So what I did was I put a regular NVMe SSD in the slot that I picked this one up from, and it didn't work. I mean, it shows up in the BIOS, but I couldn't boot into the OS. So I'm stuck with this, and I'm gonna try if I swap the port, it would make change. So let's take a look at the Ubuntu very quickly first. Okay, here's the NeoFetch. You'll see that Ubuntu 24 is there. So let's start with a quick stress NG test. Okay, 78. Okay, so we are running it on all cores, and as you can see, it goes up to 50 watts. And I'm going to safely assume that's the maximum power consumption that you can get out of this. Kind of like cap is the 50 watts. So this is more than enough to power it, and that's the most you will get power consumption from this device. And if you take a look at the sensors data, hopefully it's not heating up a lot. Yeah, so as you can see here, yeah, it's okay. It's an acceptable range of 55, 57. Okay, so the stress NG test is over. Let's take a look at it. Okay, 230,000 BOGO ops in 30 seconds, and BOGO ops per second is 7,600. Very good, very impressive for 50 watts. Just for reference, doesn't mean anything, but in 30-second exact same test that I run in Raspberry Pi 5, in here for 30 seconds you will get 870. So it's a couple thousand times of that for 50 watts. And the thermals are really looking good. There is no throttling or any issues in there. Another thing that I wanted to test in here is basically iPerf3. I just want to confirm. Yep, that's a gigabit Ethernet. That's holding up, and it didn't drop. So yeah, that's a gigabit Ethernet, and it's working fine. Now, what I want to do is trying to run an LLM model on this. It's original. I'm not going to replace the RAM. If I do, that's going to be my RAM's performance, whatever, right? So as is, out of box, for what you pay, what you get. I just want to try, let's start slow. Let's not jump crazy, and let's try with DeepSeek R1. I think this should run fine, but I'm not sure. Let's try. Okay, so it took a while and it started. Let's go with this, not the joke one. Let's see. Okay, Oh yeah, I was not expecting this. This is fast. And you can see we are very close to maximum wattage, which was 50 watts when we ran every single thread and did a stress ng test. Right now we are 47, so like 3 watts below the max. And as you can see, the thermals are rising. So it's right now at 60 C. So hopefully it's not going to go any higher than that. Okay, this is fast. I'm gonna be honest. This is probably gonna come back and say, I'm gonna just guesstimate and say 5.5 tokens a second. We'll keep an eye on thermals, and this one went up to 48. Anyway, let's wait and see. Okay, so I got a good eye for token estimation. So yeah, it's 4.5 token a second. It was running very, very well. And you can see the max thermal Celsius that we reached was 70. But the thing is, when I'm touching it, I'm not really feeling it. I know hot air is coming out of it just like me, but it's okay. It's managing it. And you can see it's 70 C, and that's pretty cool over here. Just as I said, hot air, that's it. And another impressive thing that I just noticed, when you're doing nothing in Ubuntu, it idles at around 8 watts. That's very, very nice. You know, I didn't notice it until now. It's 8 watts, 9 watts, whatever, for when you're doing nothing in Ubuntu and it's idle. That's also very nice. Okay, so we got like 5 tokens a second for the 14B model of the DeepSeek. Now, should we push it harder? Do you think it can run the 32B? I think it can. Let's just try it, 32B, if it works. Okay, so that took a little bit longer to run. I'm going to throw the same question. Let's just see how it goes. Yeah, that's still acceptable and impressive. I'm gonna say it. Yeah, that's like probably 2 tokens a second, 2.5 tokens a second. Very acceptable. Yeah, you can see that it's going on. It's not really stuck at any point, and it's throwing the words out. So, all right, let's get into fast forward run and let's see how it does. And as you can see, it's 48 watts. Okay, so it's over. It looks like, again, I was kind of right, and it is 2 tokens a second. And the max temperature didn't go above 77 in this case. And power consumption was like 48 watts max. Very acceptable, very, very nice. As I said, it's a little bit hotter than the previous run because I think this is the second time I'm running it, and overall it got heated a little bit more, but nothing crazy. That's totally manageable for this device, and it's doing great for the performance. Yeah, so I believe we are good with the LLM tests and the stress ng test and iPerf test. So Ubuntu and everything is working fine. Another thing you guys I know always want to know if you can dump the BIOS, so let me try that. Well, it looks like we can't really. It is erroring out, so we don't really have direct access, and it's a secure boot, so we can't really read and write to BIOS as is. Okay, so Ubuntu part is done. Let me swap the NVMe SSD. Hopefully I don't have to use this, because then I have to install a lot of apps on this. But yeah, let me try. Hopefully on the second slot, my NVMe SSD will work, and then we try it that way. Give me a couple of seconds. Okay, so we are back and I'm in the Windows. I just want to show you quickly the Mighty Euro Truck. So as you can see in here, this is on the high preset and I am getting like 28, 29, I don't know, let's call it 30 frames per second. As you can see now it's 29. It is kind of playable. And this is right now on the high preset. On ultra preset, I was getting 10 frames per second, not playable. On high preset, which is this, 30 frames per second, playable. And on medium preset, I was getting 60 frames per second, absolutely playable, but the resolution on the things in the screen will not have the best of look, okay? But overall, this is definitely playable. You can absolutely play with 30 frames per second. It's fine. So I just want to quickly show you that in terms of gaming. I did a bunch of benchmarks, and here you can see this is my NVMe SSD, the 990 Pro Samsung. This is what I'm getting. Let's not say a little bit. It's half the speed that I usually get with 990 Pro, okay? But still, it's fast. I just want to mention that. And there is the 3D Mark score, which we are getting 4,600-ish. And CPU Z score, here is the submitted score, which we are getting 4,336, which is faster than i9 11900H. So you have it. That's right around here. And this is my score, and that's the URL. We can check the information there. And yeah, CPU is right here. And you can walk through the tabs in CPU Z. AMD Ryzen 7 Mobile 5700. And here's the mainboard. This is the RAM, SPD, and graphics. By the way, this is exactly as I said, the RAM is original and I didn't replace anything, so this is what you will get. So overall, you can see that obviously it can handle all sorts of emulation. We are even playing Euro Truck in like high preset on 30 frames per second. So yeah, definitely will crush all sorts of emulation. And Windows 11 out of box works. So here's one thing. This first slot requires M.2 2280 or whatever SATA. So M.2 SATA for the first port. For the second port, regular NVMe SSD works fine. In here, the weird thing is the disk shows up, but it's not usable. It doesn't work, but it shows up in BIOS and you will see it. This I don't like, honestly. I'm not a big fan of M.2 SATA. I don't even have a lot of them. So when I see a SPC with this, mini computer with this, I don't like it, let's just say. Yeah, I pretty much tested as much as I can in Windows. One thing I want to show you very quickly. So as you can see here on my phone, there's like couple hot points, 54C, which is right around here, which is backside of the CPU, right around here, this corner of the RAM, which right here. And I can tell it's very hot. It's like 55C. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run bench. Intentionally, I left it like this because I want you to see that it goes like 56, 57. As you can see, it's hiking 58, 59, and it keeps going. So the SSD also gets hot because of it's right above the CPU and heat transfer. You know, there's no shielding or anything. So you can basically getting the hot. I don't think it's air. It's just direct contact. The heat is getting transferred from CPU to NVMe SSD and to the backside of the PCB. And as you can see here, you will see that we are getting 57, 58. It gets hot. And now the stress is done, so it's coming down. But it's still not crazy. It's okay-ish. So I just wanted to show you. I kept it open. I just wanted to keep an eye on the thermals as I'm running. And as you can see, when we are in Windows and doing nothing, it's 7 watts. I have to say, it's very impressive. Okay, and the LLM score and how we ran LLM, that was also very impressive. And you saw the performance in Windows and gaming and all that. It is very powerful. You can run a lot of things on this. I'm gonna try even Proxmox on this, but I'm just saying it can get a little bit hot on the top side and the cooling is on the bottom and it's blowing the heat from the sides. It's okay. I didn't notice any issues, any thermal throttling or anything like that. But yeah, definitely things get hot in here. Yeah, that being said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if Proxmox also runs on this. We'll see how it does. I will be right back. All right, so we are back. As you can see, when it is idle in Proxmox, it's 6 watts. And as you can see on the screen, it's 172.16.14. And here it is. And if we go to the summary, you will see that it is Ryzen 7 5700U with Radeon graphics. This is exactly this mini computer. So I just want to show you how long it takes to start basically a container. This is an Ubuntu container. 1, 2, there you go. That's it. Okay, it takes like 2 seconds and you can see the speed. It's very, very fast. Same thing with a Debian container. So if I start this, you have to see the bar first. So it's starting. Initially, I don't know what's happening. It takes a while. I think in the initialization, it's a brand new mini computer, something, I don't know. But then overall, what I want to say is it takes like 2 seconds to start a container. And we are also going to try an Ubuntu desktop, but first I have to make sure that we don't have any pass through. So here you go. I'm starting the Ubuntu desktop. You will see that power consumption, by the way, right now I'm using the Ubuntu container, the Debian container, and Ubuntu desktop is booting. And now finally it goes up for a second up and then comes back. So let's go here. Okay. And yeah, there you go. It definitely works well. And you can see it was initializing, so it took a while, but now it's done. Yeah, as you can see, it is definitely usable. And yeah, there you go. It's fast. It's nice. Everything is working in Proxmox as well. So what I want to say is you can see the power consumption, 20-30 watts. It's snappy. So the only problem, as I said, even in the beginning of the video, is that this gigabit Ethernet. I wish that was 2.5 and maybe even I wish it was 2 of these ones, but it's 1. So you can't really turn this into some sort of gateway or anything like that, but you can use this to run a Proxmox and then you can run, I would say safely, probably 6 6, 7, 8, maybe more virtual machines or containers in this with no trouble. And the power consumption, as you can see, when you're not using it, goes to 7 watts. That's very, very impressive. The Ubuntu desktop is still running, but when you're not really using it, it's idling, it goes down to 7. I love that part mostly about this. The fact that when you're not using it, it's very, very low power consuming. The one that I don't like is a little bit the thermal stuff, which is okay, but the Ethernet, the gigabit Ethernet, I mean, you can use the USB ports and connect one of those USB 2.5 gigabit Ethernet adapters to USB 3. I get it, you can do that, but I wish it was on the board itself. Other than that, Windows 11 worked, LLMs worked perfectly, light gaming worked, Windows worked, Ubuntu worked, Proxmox worked. Everything I wanted to try on this worked. So yeah, there you have it. Another thing, I'm gonna be again honest, I have to tell you, this button is not really connected and stuck to this. So every time you want to undo this and put it back together, you have to kind of rely on the gravity and hold the case like this and put it in like that. The power button, you can't really connect it, or maybe you can glue it, but that's not gonna be a decent solution. Anyway, that's small nitpicking stuff. But other than that, I couldn't really find any issues. Everything I tried worked fine. Another thing I said, as I said in the beginning, I don't like the setup part, but good thing is there is another one, and that was M.2. This one, not a big fan, but if you are, it's fine, it works. Yeah, there you go. When you're not using it, it goes even down to 6.8, 6.5. That's impressive. I gotta be honest, that's very impressive. And Ubuntu desktop is still up and running. Everything is working fine. Yeah, I just wanted to show you guys this mini computer, and it's impressive. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please let me know if you have any questions down below. I will try to answer it if I know the answer. If not, I will contact the vendor as always. So thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye for now.